Brad Pitt and Keanu Reeves are both over 60 years old, but they've taken completely different paths to staying fit. Brad Pitt built one of the most iconic physiques in Hollywood, while Keanu Reeves built one of the most capable. So today, we're going to compare their workouts, diets, recovery, and overall fitness philosophies to answer one important question: which approach gives the average person the best chance of living a longer, healthier life? Along the way, we'll look at what each actor is training for, why they train the way they do, what lessons we can apply to our own lives, and the trade-offs behind both approaches. Because remember, today, we're not judging who has the better body. We're judging which philosophy is most likely to help you age well. So as we go through this comparison, ask yourself one question: which philosophy would you still want to follow 20 years from now? Let's begin with Brad Pitt. When most people think of Brad Pitt's fitness, one movie immediately comes to mind: Fight Club. More than 25 years later, it's still considered one of the most iconic physiques ever put on screen. Lean, athletic, defined. It's the kind of physique that's inspired millions of people to start working out. But here's what many people don't realize. Brad Pitt wasn't training to become the biggest actor in Hollywood. He wasn't trying to bench press 400 pounds. He wasn't training to become a powerlifter or even a competitive bodybuilder. His goal was much more specific. He wanted to build a physique that looked incredible on camera. Imagine a sculptor standing in front of a giant block of marble. Every cut is intentional. Remove too much and you ruin the sculpture. Remove too little and the details never appear. That's exactly how Brad Pitt approached his body. Every workout, every meal, and every cardio session was carefully designed to reveal muscle while removing as much body fat as possible. Keep that goal in mind, because it's going to influence every decision he makes from this point forward, and we'll come back to it when it's time to choose our winner. To build that iconic physique, Brad Pitt followed a fairly traditional bodybuilding split, focusing on one major muscle group each day. Monday was dedicated to chest with exercises like push-ups, bench press, incline press, and machine flies. Tuesday shifted to back with pull-ups, seated cable rows, lat pull-downs, and T-bar rows. Wednesday focused on shoulders, using Arnold presses, lateral raises, and front raises before finishing the week with a dedicated arm day full of curls and triceps work. At first glance, this might not seem very different from what millions of people already do in the gym, and that's because it isn't. One of the biggest lessons from Brad Pitt's training is that you don't need a secret workout to build an incredible physique. You need consistency. But there are a few things that stand out. Rather than chasing one-rep maxes or trying to lift as heavy as possible, Brad's workouts emphasized high training volume. Many of his exercises were performed for moderate to high repetitions with relatively short rest periods. Think about the difference between building a house and decorating one. Heavy compound lifts lay the foundation by building strength and muscle. Higher volume training helps shape and refine that muscle, creating the definition and symmetry people associate with a Hollywood physique. That's exactly what Brad was doing. He wasn't training to become the strongest man in the room. He was training to create balance, wide shoulders, a defined chest, lean arms, and the classic V taper that makes the waist appear even smaller. Everything about his workout served that single purpose. Now remember that because when we compare Brad Pitt to Keanu Reeves later, we'll have to ask whether training for appearance is the same as training for long-term health. But lifting weights was only half the equation. To understand how Brad achieved such an incredibly lean physique, we have to look at what happened after he left the weight room. Building muscle was only half of Brad Pitt's transformation. The other half happened every time he sat down to eat. Think about a high-performance sports car. You can build the most powerful engine in the world, but if you constantly fill it with poor quality fuel or skip the maintenance, eventually its performance starts to decline. Your body works much the same way. The workouts may build the engine, but your nutrition determines how well that engine performs. That's why Brad Pitt didn't just spend hours in the gym. He paid just as much attention to what happened outside of it. Several days each week, Brad performed 45 to 60 minutes of cardio, usually on a treadmill or stationary bike. The goal wasn't simply to burn calories, it was to gradually lower his body fat while preserving the muscle he'd already built. Now here's something that surprises a lot of people. Most people assume Brad Pitt's abs came from endless crunches, but the truth is, his abs were revealed by his nutrition. He fueled his body with lean proteins like chicken and egg whites, along with complex carbohydrates such as oatmeal and brown rice to support his training and recovery. Processed foods and sugary snacks were kept to a minimum, and during movie preparation, his calorie intake often stayed below 2,000 calories per day while maintaining a high protein intake. That's an incredible amount of discipline, because unlike lifting weights for an hour, nutrition doesn't stop when you leave the gym. Every breakfast, every lunch, every dinner is another opportunity to fuel your body towards your goal. And I think that's one of Brad Pitt's greatest lessons. Building an impressive physique usually isn't about finding the perfect workout. It's about consistently making good decisions when nobody is watching. But here's where I want you to keep something in mind. Brad wasn't fueling his body to maximize longevity. He was fueling his body to maximize aesthetics. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, he achieved one of the most recognizable physiques in Hollywood history. But when we compare these two fitness philosophies later, we'll have to ask ourselves, should we always optimize our bodies to look their best? Or should we optimize them to serve us for as long as possible? Keep that question in the back of your mind, because Keanu Reeves takes a very different approach. So far, we've looked at a fitness philosophy built around aesthetics. Brad Pitt showed us what incredible discipline, nutrition, and bodybuilding can accomplish when your goal is creating the perfect Hollywood physique. But now, let's look at someone whose philosophy couldn't be more different. Instead of asking, "How good can my body look?" Keanu Reeves seems to ask, "What do I want my body to be capable of?" That one question changes almost everything about how he trains. When most people think of Keanu Reeves, they don't think about six-pack abs. They think about John Wick, a man who can sprint, roll, jump, fight multiple opponents, and somehow still have enough energy to keep going. That doesn't happen because of good genetics alone. It's the result of years of training for one specific purpose: performance. Imagine your body as a vehicle. Brad Pitt built a sports car. Fast, beautiful, designed to turn heads. Keanu Reeves built something completely different, more like a rugged off-road vehicle. Maybe it isn't the flashiest thing on the road, but it can handle rough terrain, keep moving when conditions get difficult, and stay reliable for years. That's the philosophy behind Keanu's training. His goal isn't simply to look athletic. It's to build a body that can perform, recover, and continue performing tomorrow. Keep that goal in mind. Because just like Brad Pitt, every workout, every meal, and every recovery session is built around that one objective. And by the end of this video, we'll have to decide which philosophy gives the average person the best chance of staying healthy after 60. Unlike Brad Pitt's traditional bodybuilding split, Keanu Reeves' workouts look very different. His trainer, Patrick Murphy, designed many of his workouts around one simple goal: build a body that can perform, not just pose. Instead of isolating one muscle group at a time, many of Keanu's workouts combine several movements into high-repetition circuits using resistance bands, bodyweight exercises, and light dumbbells. One circuit might include resistance band rows, pull-off presses for core stability, reverse lunges, single-leg balance drills, and shoulder exercises that strengthen the smaller muscles responsible for keeping the joints stable. At first glance, these exercises might not seem nearly as exciting as heavy bench presses or massive deadlifts. In fact, if you watch someone doing pull-off presses in the gym, you probably wouldn't think they were training for one of the biggest action movies in Hollywood. But that's exactly the point. Keanu isn't trying to build the biggest muscles. He's trying to build a body that works as one complete system. Think about driving on a rough mountain road. A powerful engine is important, but if the suspension is weak, the tires have no grip, or the steering isn't reliable, all that horsepower becomes much less useful. Your body works the same way. Big muscles can generate a lot of force, but if your balance is poor, your joints aren't stable, or your core can't transfer that force efficiently, your performance starts to break down. That's why Keanu spends so much time strengthening the muscles most people never think about. His shoulders, his hips, his core, his balance. These aren't the muscles that get the most attention on social media, but they play a huge role in how well your body moves every single day. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons we can learn from Keanu Reeves. As we get older, fitness becomes less about adding another 20 pounds to the bar, and more about maintaining a body that can continue moving well for decades. Keep that idea in mind, because we're beginning to see a major difference between these two philosophies. Brad Pitt is building a body that's optimized for appearance. Keanu Reeves is building a body that's optimized for performance. Neither goal is wrong, but by the end of this video, we'll have to decide which philosophy gives the average person the greatest chance of staying healthy after 60. Just like his workouts, Keanu Reeves' nutrition is built around one simple question: what does my body need to perform at its best? Imagine two people getting ready for a marathon. One runner spends the night eating pizza and staying up until 2 in the morning. The other gets a full night's sleep, drinks plenty of water, and eats a meal they know will provide steady energy the next day. Neither meal makes them faster overnight, but one of them wakes up ready to perform. That's the philosophy behind Keanu Reeves' nutrition. He doesn't eat to impress people on social media. He eats to give his body the energy and recovery it needs to perform when it matters most. Because of that, his meals tend to be simple and practical. Lean proteins like chicken help repair muscle after long training sessions. Complex carbohydrates such as brown rice, oatmeal, pasta, and vegetables provide the steady energy needed to power hours of martial arts practice, strength training, and stunt work. One thing I really appreciate about Keanu's approach is its simplicity. There are no extreme detoxes, no celebrity juice cleanses, no miracle foods promising overnight transformations. Instead, he focuses on consistently eating quality foods that support performance and recovery. And then there's one habit that I found especially interesting. Since filming The Matrix, Keanu has often eaten a New York strip steak the night before filming a major fight scene. At first, it might sound like an ordinary dinner, but I think it's much more than that. Every athlete has rituals. Michael Jordan famously wore his old University of North Carolina shorts underneath his Chicago Bulls uniform. Some tennis players bounce the ball the exact same number of times before every serve. Others always listen to the same song before a competition. For Keanu Reeves, it's steak. Part of that meal provides protein and energy for the physically demanding day ahead. But another part is psychological. It's a signal, a way of telling himself, tomorrow, it's time to perform. I think there's an important lesson in that. Success isn't just built on workouts and nutrition. Sometimes it's built on small habits and routines that prepare your mind as much as your body. During periods of intense filming, Keanu also prioritizes recovery by using supplements like omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, L-glutamine, and turmeric to help support his joints and muscles after long days of... But here's something I respect even more. Between movies, Keanu doesn't try to live like John Wick every single day. He enjoys life. A glass of red wine, a good whiskey, even the occasional dessert. That balance tells us something about his overall philosophy. He isn't trying to be in movie star shape 365 days a year. He's trying to build a lifestyle he can realistically maintain for decades. Keep that thought in mind, because we're almost ready to choose our winner. Brad Pitt showed us the discipline required to build one of Hollywood's most iconic physiques. Keanu Reeves is showing us the discipline required to keep showing up, year after year. Those are two very different definitions of success. So, after comparing Brad Pitt and Keanu Reeves, which fitness philosophy comes out on top? Before I give my answer, remember something we've said throughout this video. We're not judging who has the better body. we're judging which philosophy gives the average person the best chance of living a longer, healthier life. If your goal is building an incredible physique, it's hard to argue against Brad Pitt. His consistency, discipline, and dedication to nutrition helped create one of the most recognizable bodies in Hollywood history. There's a lot we can learn from his commitment, but if your goal is staying active, protecting your joints, moving well, and continuing to enjoy life for decades, I have to give this one to Keanu Reeves, not because he has more muscle, not because he's stronger, but because his training philosophy prepares him for something much bigger than looking good on camera. It prepares him for life. Final lesson. Maybe that's the biggest lesson from this entire comparison. The best workout isn't always the one that builds the biggest muscles. Sometimes it's the one that allows you to keep hiking, playing with your kids, traveling, lifting groceries, or simply getting off the floor without pain 20 years from now. Brad Pitt reminds us how powerful discipline can be. Keanu Reeves reminds us why we should stay disciplined in the first place. Because the goal isn't just to look healthy. The goal is to keep living a healthy life. So, what do you think? If you had to follow one fitness philosophy after turning 60, would you choose Brad Pitt's approach or Keanu Reeves's? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, because every week we break down the workouts, diets, and fitness philosophies of celebrities to discover what lessons we can apply to our own lives. Until next time, stay healthy, stay active, and remember, action creates greatness.